Welcome to the Greatest Story Podcast with your hosts,
Zac
and Josh. I don't know why I hesitated. That's fine, though. We are here to discuss and react to some of the greatest stories ever told. We will look at books, movies, video games, and all forms of storytelling to figure out what makes a good story and what are some of the greatest stories.
Yeah, that's good. I had to control myself from not laughing when you paused right there.
It just happened. I got nothing for you.
Speaking of nothing, our story today. No, I'm just kidding. Well,
it's something. It is a movie of all time.
It is something. But we're not there yet. Josh, have you been engaging or reading any good stories recently?
Yeah, I got a little nostalgic, and I've been slowly playing through the Halo games, and I recently beat Halo 3, which is pretty good. I mean, it's not like the most deep story, but it's cool, and I think it's pretty positive.
Yeah, that's good. What's one of your favorite things from Halo 3?
Honestly, I like the ships. So, like, the Pelican dropship is just, like, a cool design. Yep. I just like the aesthetic of the UNSC.
Yep. Spaceships are cool, man.
Yeah. But I also like, it's basically like the last mission is essentially the last mission from the first Halo. And so that was kind of fun to kind of see the similarities.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
But yeah. Well, you know what else is good, Zac?
What?
Our Pathfinders.
That's true.
Yeah. I was trying to find something witty.
Yeah.
But our Pathfinders, and we want to give call outs to our two Pathfinder sponsors, Pathfinder Commodore, Peggy B, and Pathfinder Champion, Paige S.
You guys are champs.
Dun-dun-dun. Here we go.
First, we also want to give a shout out to Ruby Joe.
Yeah.
For her interaction on the Discord.
That's right.
And her comments there. So, yeah, go ahead and check out Discord. It's a great place. We have that on patreon.com, so you can get the link there. Yeah.
You can use your imagination.
That's true. Yep. We love you and all. I think it's not how it goes. Something like that.
Barney's a dinosaur from your imagination. That's all I got.
Yeah.
I don't remember the next step.
Yeah, we were talking about Barney on the Discord. So there you go. Yeah. That's that. Now you can join that conversation as well.
Or you can join the deeper, like the side conversation on like the death of storytelling.
Yep, for sure. There's something for everyone on Discord. That true.
You got Barney and Joy, or you got like Repeat and I talking about what is late stage storytelling.
Super good. Not super good is today's story. So we have
a delightful explosion.
It is an explosion. That's true. This is Transformers number 3, The Dark Side of the Moon.
And we just kind of wanted to mix it up. I feel like we do the initial start of a franchise.
So we jumped in.
And
then we wanted to jump out.
Just like when like the Autobots have somebody inside of them, they somehow can change and morph their car into a person figure thing
to save them. Yeah.
Our goal is to stay positive, but this will be an exciting thing.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
So Josh, clear plot.
No. I was afraid you were going to ask me. I don't know.
I can help. What happens? This is a 2 hour and 37 minute movie. And guys, I got to tell you,
the plot transforms 3 times.
I am so committed. I will always finish a book and always finish a movie. And I finish a lot of TV shows too, but it was a struggle. At one point I paused this movie and I was like, if I was not recording an episode on this, I might give up.
I actually had the same phenomena.
It was bad. Bad.
I was also up late watching it, so I was like, I could just go to bed.
I can just go to bed. This is not worth it. But for you, listeners, it is worth it.
Yeah, you're worth it to us.
That's right. We will suffer on your behalf.
I mean, okay. So the plot starts out, and it's actually pretty good start.
That's true, yes.
Like the best chunk of the movie is probably the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So essentially, it starts out with this pretty epic War on Cybertron scene, which sets off the main, I guess it's the main conflict, which is the people of Cybertron are on the verge of extinction from a global civil war.
Yep.
Between the Autobots and the Decepticons.
Yep. Definitely not trying to paint good guys or bad guys there.
Yeah, like Deception cons, or what is Autobots? Bots that are full auto? Anyways, but you know, and then one's like a more noble looking red face, and the other one's like a very angular purple face. Yeah, I wonder who the bad guy is. Well, I mean, we're gonna get into that though.
I wonder who is the bad guy.
I don't know. I don't know.
Anyway, a ship escapes, but it's destroyed.
Lands on the far side of the moon, which apparently never rotates.
No, it's always the dark side.
It's always on the dark side.
Yep, it's always the dark side. Yeah, this movie should have been called The Far Side of the Moon because that's where it lands, but it's just always dark. And every time we see that photo or that like scene, it's always dark.
And so, I don't know. Anyways, and they set that up as the reason, you know, the Cold War space race heats up is that both the Soviet Union and
the United States
and
know that something hit the moon, and
they want that technology, or they want to figure it out. And so, you know, they have, I don't know if it's AI or CGI, but they have like a JFK who
they like splice in real world footage with like, I think it's a computer generated
JFK.
Well,
it's like the model from Black Ops.
It's
like, I wonder if they borrowed it from Activision.
Maybe.
But, you know, and that's cool. They splice in like real footage, real audio, and, you know,
they do the whole one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind, and then it like shifts, and they're like, your real mission.
Yeah, it goes into a Black Op, and they like cut the feed and the audio, and they're like, only 30 of us know.
Yep.
And then, you know, you get in there, and Buzz Aldrin finds some robots not in disguise.
Yep.
And then it cuts, and then you're back in, I don't know, 2011 America, which this felt like we'll get there. But 2011 America, following the protagonist of the last two films, Sam Witwicky, otherwise known as A Normal Tuesday with Shia LaBeouf.
Yes.
And his sad adventures of trying to be an adult.
Yeah.
And that's a third of the movie.
That's literally most of the movie. We also have he switches love interests between this movie and the last movie.
I mean, did Megan Fox, I guess he says they broke up.
Quit. Yeah, I think she quit. And so they broke up, quotation marks.
Yeah.
And so we have to spend another like 30 minutes like identifying his new love interest. And like, I think the goal was building that relationship, but it doesn't really feel like.
I mean, they make it pretty clear. It's kind of, I mean, and I have to be honest.
We'll get there with characters, I think.
Well, I know, but I want to give a disclaimer. Like, this isn't the most sanitary movie. Like, this isn't. We want to be honest about what we're watching.
Yeah.
I am fairly surprised that this was PG-13.
Yeah. Probably should have been R.
I feel like it must have been like one of those on the cusp of being Rs.
Yeah.
Even like with the violence between the Autobots and it's like
the violence ramps up too.
It's like if you took Mortal Kombat and mixed it with the car movie, Fast and Furious.
Yeah, or Cars.
No. Ka-chow! Could you imagine? You like,
finish him!
Ka-chow! But you take
the oil's everywhere. No!
I mean, but they did do that.
I know.
They have like splattering of like bright red,
like oil.
It does not look like motor oil.
Nope.
Even like unused motor oil looks like olive oil. So it's like Mortal Kombat mixed with Fast and Furious, mixed with like Black Ops 1 camping.
Yeah.
And like then they like Michael Bay it and they spit it out. So like it's very gratuitous with violence. It's pretty gratuitous with how they treat women.
Yep.
So it's just I wouldn't recommend it unless you're a pretty mature individual.
Yeah.
Which then if you enjoy it, I would question your maturity. If I'm honest. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyways, but
and that's literally the first like half of the movie.
It's just Shia LaBeouf trying to find a job.
Yep. And then there's a whole bunch of betrayals.
Oh, they do like, and there is like the plot where there's uncovering government conspiracy.
Sure. Yeah, they're kind of they're going back and uncovering the first 20 minutes of the movie.
And I still am kind of confused how Shia LaBeouf got wrapped into that.
Right.
Because he gets picked up for this weird, like, Silicon Valley tech job that's somehow in the middle of Washington, D.C.
Right.
And his boss has a guy who's secretly working for the Decepticons.
Yep, but wants to help. So he tries to alert Shia LaBeouf by
doing some really cringe stuff.
Yep. That was a weird and jarring scene. We can talk about that inconsistency.
I don't know if I want to talk about it. But somehow that loops Shia LaBeouf back into the conspiracy.
Yep.
Which I should probably use his like
Sam.
story name, Sam Witwicky.
Yeah,
not,
but yeah.
I mean, he's almost synonymous with like. Although we should do a story on Shia LaBeouf's story.
Yeah.
But then he gets looped in, and he kind of forces his way back into the government in this super secret special ops division. That works with the Autobots, and then they uncover a world domination plan.
Yep, but then they're tricked, and the domination plan starts to happen. Yeah. So then Chicago gets wasted.
And then it all goes back to happy ending,
I guess.
And Sam has
Chicago's
a girlfriend.
Still wasted, though. But
does he have a job?
But I don't think he has a job.
Because I don't know.
But he has a girlfriend. So
just like in the last one. So if it sounds like we're jumbled and convoluted,
that is, in fact,
it's because we are, and I don't think it's our fault.
Yeah. Again, the best part is the government conspiracy angle, and that's wrapped up in like 20 minutes.
Yeah, so I had a hunch when Zach and I were starting to prepare.
This is cool. Yeah.
Where I was watching it, and I thought, like, it really reminds me of Black Ops 1, just the vibe from the first kind of like
similar story elements. Yep.
So I had Zach and I looked it up. This movie came out in, what was it, 2011?
Yeah, and Black Ops
1 came out in 2010.
Which means while they were filming,
Black Ops 1 came out.
Was getting hyped.
Yeah, and so they're like, I think they really only have the Cold War stuff in there to be trendy.
Yep, it was a hype train moment.
I mean, they even loop poor Buzz Aldrin into this.
Yeah, they get
travesty for
real Buzz Aldrin to play himself in this movie.
Which is just kind of sad.
Yeah, we'll get to that with characters and consistency because they get a lot of famous actors and famous people.
But I mean,
this movie,
like Jurassic Park, this is obviously supposed to be a summer blockbuster where you're just going in and like you're literally just looking to watch like Rock'em Sock'em robots.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you get, except less than I would have wanted.
But there's not as much robot fighting scenes.
There's a lot of running.
Yep. People fighting.
Sort of.
Drama, in quotation marks.
There's a lot of, like...
It feels like robots mixed in with like a soap opera. Like a
90s TV show.
Yeah, it's a very weird, it's a very weird vibe. So let's move on to character arc, which there is not one with any character. Every character is the exact same. Even Josh mentioned Sam has a girlfriend at the end of the movie, but he also had a girlfriend at the beginning of the movie and the end of the last movie.
He gets a job, loses the job.
He was a hero. He's still a hero.
He acts like a 13-year-old.
He does the entire movie.
I'm sorry, but like he acts like an 8th grader.
Yeah, his character is not written well. He's supposed to be like 27, and it's not great. He's just yelling all the time.
Actually, it reminds me of Nickelback.
Oh, interesting.
Like it's like if you took a Nickelback song, like was it like I Want to Be a Rock Star?
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf's character, Sam Witwicky, is just we all want to be big rock stars. Yeah. Like the Nickelback song. Yeah. That's his character.
And that's his character. He just wants to be the center of attention. He just wants to be taken seriously.
Yeah, he wants a hot girlfriend and a fast car and a bunch of money.
Yep. Yeah.
And he wants his fast car to talk to him.
Right.
And like he'll strangely pet it on its nose.
Right.
Even though it's a highly advanced life form, plausibly more advanced than Sam.
Than he is.
That actually made me super uncomfortable.
I know.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know.
Where he's just like massaging Bumblebee's face or something.
Yep. Like, is this your pet? Because you also talk about like hanging out with the guys. Like, Bumblebee's coming over for a cold drink, but
Bumblebee's like 200 years old and is like a 20-foot tall machine.
And you're like, good boy. Like, what is happening?
Anyways, but that should be inconsistency. But I don't know. Like his girlfriend is just like
So, yeah, and this is kind of moving into characters, I guess.
Well, I mean, we're doing development.
Yeah, for character arc.
I don't know. Optimus Prime. So basically, his girlfriend has no character arc.
His girlfriend has no character
She is literally 2D.
Yep. Yeah. She's a stand-in character, and it's...
I think it's even worse than that.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's...
I think that's in for
air
characters,
quotes,
though, probably.
Yeah, we're not there.
We're not there yet.
But like Optimus Prime,
I don't think he
goes from we fight for humanity to we're gonna evacuate to surprise. We're still
back fighting for humanity
after 2/3 of Chicago is demolished.
Yep.
in the most brutal way.
We'll get to there for consistency.
But I mean,
that scene
that's
was
what I'm
very
saying.
jarring. That scene was very jarring.
Like, clear character arc is basically
it's bad.
non-existent.
There's nothing. There's nothing. All our characters are the same from the beginning to the end. What about clear ethical lesson? Question mark? ...
Do you want to start?
Please.
I mean, we're sorry, team. We're doing our best. Like, we're really trying to be positive here. There are some cool scenes / shots.
Yeah, there's some great action scenes.
Sort of.
Kind of.
Kind of too short. But, I mean, we're being positive, so they're great.
Right.
The cars look cool.
The cars look cool.
Although they're a little outdated by now, but they look cool.
But they look cool for 2011.
Dr. Shepard from Grey's Anatomy's in there.
Yeah, that's right. He plays a villain, but he's only in like 25 minutes of screen time, if that. So,
I could only think about him in Grey's Anatomy.
I know. I was like, man, why is Dr. Shepard being such a jerk right now?
Don't you have a surgery to perform, Dr. Shepard? Anyways.
So ethical lesson... I literally have nothing. There's one line at an important part in the movie where Sentinel Prime, the old general of the Autobots,
who's kind of a jerk from the beginning.
Yeah, he's a jerk from the beginning, and he later turns out to be evil. And we're like, well, I guess we kind of could have seen that one coming.
It was pretty advertised.
And then he's like, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, which is why we have to destroy your planet and turn it into our planet.
Well, they're not, but it's confusing. They're like, the one resource that's unique to humanity. I'm like, oh, water. And they're like, humans. Yeah, they're like, in order to rebuild our planet, we need slaves. But then you just wasted like most of Chicago. Like, I guess they're saying, 7 billion people on the planet. It's okay if we destroy, a couple 100,000, but still, like. Yeah, I definitely thought they were going to do like, no, surprise, we're going to take all the H2O.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I thought was happening until they're like, people.
Yeah.
Like, wait.
And then they're like, we're not going to rebuild Cybertron. We're going to literally transport the physical planet of Cybertron. I'm not sure what the point was.
I guess they were going to like shuttle people to Cybertron to make them work.
But the planet was like merging. It was like coming to Earth.
I know.
Like, I think the planets were just going to like collide.
I guess. Or super weird orbit.
Yeah.
The Earth would become a moon of Cybertron.
The dark side of the moon.
Anyways, but so
he says the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Yeah.
The problem is there's more people than robots.
Yeah, and is he talking about how there are more Decepticons than Autobots?
And so we're helping the Decepticons? But that doesn't seem to make sense.
If you take that logic and you keep moving, then it would apply to people. But maybe the point is he doesn't see humans as people intelligent.
Or as intelligent, yeah.
He sees them as meat.
Yeah, or less than.
Are we supposed to be like, oh, look, they're robots and we don't consider them as people? And
right.
The robots don't consider us as people?
So it's just perpetual conflict.
But it's not, because then Optimus Prime is, they're my pets. So
I will protect them.
Which is kind of how it feels, actually.
Oh, definitely.
It's not like we have a symbiotic relationship. He's like, I like them.
Yes. These are my humans. I found them.
My planet's gone, so I'm gonna, PTSD protect theirs.
Yes, I'm gonna chill.
I don't know. The only other thing is Tyrese Gibson's character. Epps, like he
helps his friend. He helps Sam. Yeah, he helps Sam.
But then you pointed out when they get to Chicago,
he's
they're
like, "Nah, I'm out."
Sorry, man, that is too much war.
I was going to help you, and then it would cost me too much, so I'm not helping anymore.
But I guess.
But then in the end, they do help when Optimus Prime shows up again. So, help your friends when it's not that hard.
Especially, I think, what is the... Fickle is the friend who leaves when the road darkens.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a Tolkien thing?
I think that's something like that. But that's what this movie wants you to do. Be a fickle friend. Only travel when the light is on the road.
Unless it's about you and your girlfriend.
Yeah, always stick to your girlfriend.
Whose greatest attribute, according to your parents, is that she's super hot.
Correct, which is a literal verbatim quote. And,
Yeah, I'm not being gross. That's like in
nope,
the movie.
that's literally lines of dialogue, which are terrible. Dialogue is awful.
Yeah, the parental advice is actually pretty poor.
Oh, it's bad.
And gross, actually.
It's bad. The parental advice was literally, you're dating a very attractive woman, so make sure to go get her and never let her go, even if she wants to leave.
Yeah, it's like, it felt like...
That's very possessive.
Felt like a really bad episode of The Simpsons whenever the parents were there.
Yeah.
It just didn't feel...
Yeah,
right.
it was not jiving with the rest. What about conflict and resolution, Josh?
I mean, people explode. There are a lot of explosions.
That is a conflict.
Dr. Shepard...
Or is that a resolution?
Gets hit in the face with a brick.
What happens to him? Is he dead?
I assumed he got deep fried when he hit the electrical pillar.
Yeah.
So let's see. Let's go back to plot.
Okay.
Sam
wants to be a hero. Yep, he needs a job. He wants to be a hero.
He
needs to be a rock star.
Shoehorn himself back into being a rock star.
Yep. Mostly by just always going to the problems
and tackling the security guards, which I feel like he would at least get in legal trouble. But he makes somehow his boss, like the weird, like some consistency things. His kung fu boss, who reminds me of Bruce Springsteen for some reason, like ends up bringing him paperwork.
I have no idea.
So, like, does he have a job?
So is that a role reversal? Like, is he in charge now?
Boss?
Or is that just like a metaphorical thing? Like, he's the boss, but he doesn't actually have a job anymore?
Impress me.
Yeah. Like, what do you mean? Like, impress me.
Yeah, it's just so cringe. But I mean, like, I guess my point is, I don't know how Sam's character ends up after the movie.
No.
Like, the ending of this movie is like, and that's all, folks.
Yeah.
Like,
it literally, they're standing in ruined Chicago.
And they're like, that's it?
Yep.
It's just... we don't know.
It literally ends with Bumblebee saying that they should get married, and he's like, well, we're not ready for that yet.
Yeah, that actually really bothered me.
Oh, yeah, it was weird.
That was like one chance of maturity.
Exactly, because it was like...
maturity
chance. I'll follow you anywhere.
Except marriage.
It's too
Except
scary.
familial stability.
No commitments. Only travel when the road is light.
I'm gonna live in your super weird studio apartment with chandeliers that has a full industrial garage, an elevator that can fit a car, but we're not getting married. It's like, so his character, no. The military and the Autobots relationship, I guess, goes back to status quo.
What is status quo?
Well, like the people of Earth get challenged, and they're like, "That's it, we're rolling over." The Autobots literally eliminated the war on terror, but that's it.
We're done.
We are submitting to terrorism. Like, it's essentially how it goes.
It's so.
What could go wrong? And then there's like a whole plan to blow all of them out of the sky, which is only averted because the good guys lie.
Yep.
And they don't lie to the humans. They do
lie to the humans. Yeah,
they lie to the humans.
They lie to everybody.
Like, they showed Shia LaBeouf's like, I thought you were dead.
He's like, nah, we were tricked.
We hid in the bottom platform. All 15 of us giant robots stayed in the box.
It was a big platform.
Chicago's wasted.
Yep.
They talk about how there's like...
The war ends.
Sort of, but there's supposed to be like 300 Decepticons.
Yeah, like, I don't know. They didn't kill all of them. They didn't kill
300 of them. They barely killed 10.
And they're also all over the world.
Yeah. So that conflict's still there, I guess. They're just going to be hanging out in Tahiti, sipping in coconut water.
Just waiting. Like, we'll wait for the next movie. Yeah. You guys want to let us chill until the next movie?
And anyways, that's consistency. Sorry, so I'll save that.
I know, we keep talking about consistency, but...
I mean, it permeates into everything.
It is. It's bad.
Cybertron doesn't get saved.
Nope.
There's no plan for more Transformers, although somehow, miraculously, the roster gets replenished every fight.
Yep.
Just doesn't make sense.
Nope. I don't know how many...
They're like, these are our buddies.
Yep.
The Wreckers, they showed up.
Yep, they showed up. That's right. Engaging in relatable characters is not good. Bumblebee is the coolest character, and he can't even talk.
I actually thought... What is the big pickup truck one? Like the
Ironhide.
I thought he was cool.
Yeah, for the 2 minutes that he was in the movie. He gets
Like,
wasted. I was like,
easy.
what?
He's also supposed to be like he presents is the toughest one.
Yes, he takes on like 2 or 3 Decepticons by himself, wins that fight, and then Sentinel Prime is like, I'm a bad guy.
And
Shot through the chest. Boom.
It was just one hit. And it takes like Optimus Prime loses an arm.
Yeah, I know.
Gets shot through the chest.
I was like, what?
Gets hit in the jugular if they have one. And he's like, I'm gonna take out not just Megatron,
but also Sentinel Prime.
Is missing half a brain somehow. I don't know. I mean, Colonel Linux is shallow.
Yep.
He looks like a G.I. Joe.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's who he is. He's a G.I. Joe.
Like a G.I. Joe?
Yep. If you remember the G.I. Joe series.
Is Tyrese Gibson in Fast and Furious?
Oh, he might be, actually. He's the same character.
He operates like Fast and Furious.
It's the same character.
But if he was a veteran.
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf is, again, acting like a teenager.
Yep.
It's deeply regrettable, but literally every woman in this show
is sexualized.
Yeah, it's very inappropriate.
It's blatant. It's inappropriate. I mean, the girlfriend is there only to be eye candy.
She only wears mini skirts and like cocktail dresses that are, anyways.
Yep.
But so like, there's no development
at all.
It's just it's honestly kind of sad.
Yeah.
I think like it made me a little depressed, if I'm honest. Like just the lack of any
positive female representation.
Well, even just positive ethical attributes whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like it really is. Explosions fun, women fun, cars
fun.
Putting all 3 together with explosions.
What could go wrong?
Yeah. Like it was like, yes, the total state of humanity.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're here for. Sorry, if we threw you into an existential crisis, our bad.
Yeah, but you know what? Maybe it was time. Everybody needs one of those.
I don't know. Optimus Prime's not even that cool.
No, not in this movie. Maybe I have to go back and watch the other ones. But I distinctly remember liking him in the first movie, and I was like, the whole time...
He's kind of a jerk in this one, too.
He is. Well, even like the whole tricking the Decepticons by pretending that we're dead, he's like, I will always defend humanity, but he lets...
Except Chicago.
Yes.
Those guys can bite it.
Yes. He was like, we had to make sure that humanity knows how serious we are and like how valuable we are as allies. And I was like, so you're going to let Chicago get killed?
As a topical example, behold, Exhibit A, Chicago.
Autobots on your side, no death. Autobots pretending to be dead, Chicago is ruined.
The Cubs, no wins. The Bears, no wins.
Yeah. And then there's all of these famous actors and famous people which have decent acting considering they're given terrible dialogue options, but there is no consistency in screen time.
No.
Like, and that's part of the jarringness of like the shots and the plot line is like we spend I don't know how many minutes with Sam in his office.
A lot.
And that guy dies like almost instantly.
Wang,
the computer analyst, dies like at the end of that discussion and that like scene change. I should be sad, but I don't even know who he is.
But he's only there for comic relief.
Yeah, like, so many people are there. So many people are there just for comic relief. And when everyone is comic relief, no one is.
If everyone's special, then
no one is. Yeah. What about anything to add there?
I think let's just move on.
Captivating world. We're moving on. Captivating world.
Honestly, when it comes to Transformers, I remember as a kid, I thought a couple of the toys were cool.
Yeah.
Like conceptually, like, oh, this one is either a dude with a big gun who changes into a tank.
Yep.
Or this is a dude who turns into a sports car.
Yep.
And he has smaller gun.
Yep.
I'm not a big fan of car movies unless they're like, real life about racing.
Yeah.
Sometimes those are interesting.
Gran Turismo. That's a great movie.
But like, or the F1 movie.
Yep.
But like this.
Rush. Talking about Rush?
I think so.
With Chris Hemsworth?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Or the one, is Viggo Mortensen in a racing movie? Or am I thinking about...
I think he's in a horse racing movie.
Well, I know that what is that called? Where he's like in the Middle East.
Yeah.
I forget. But I thought there was...
Wait. It'll come to me. Hold on. Hidalgo.
Yes.
Yep.
I lost my brain.
Yes. It's a good one. I actually like that movie.
But I guess all that to say, like Transformers, like the flashy cars. I mean, it's like our reality. Plus, what if there are these really extraordinarily complicated but unexplained giant robots who some of them have to look like cars and some of them don't. Like the big worm guy. Or like all the Decepticons just don't transform.
They just don't transform.
Honestly,
ever.
I probably would have liked it more if all the Decepticons changed into cars.
Yeah. We got 3 transforms.
You got one garbage truck guy.
4 transforms. You have a garbage truck.
Which doesn't fight.
Nope.
They just show them.
It just turns into a garbage truck and drives away, and you're like...
And somehow their paint it doesn't change with the like car that they Mighty morphed into.
No.
It's always like just grayscale of red eyes.
Yeah.
And I think it would be cooler if they had their because the Autobots they change. Yeah. And they have to look like the car.
Yep.
And so there's like, I'm a bright cherry red Ferrari.
Yeah.
And then, a Decepticon changes from a black SUV and is like a metallic gray.
Yeah.
You're like, what are you?
Yeah. And that's our 3. We have a jet, a couple SUVs, and a garbage truck.
I think that's it.
And that's the only Decepticon transformations.
Yeah.
And then a giant
I guess Sentinel turns into a fire truck.
Okay, but he's not a Decepticon. He is still an Autobot.
He might be worse than a Decepticon.
I think he is.
He really is a Decepticon.
He is, yeah. Because he doesn't even like the Decepticons, though.
No, but he just deceives the deceivers.
Yeah. And is himself deceived.
But
that's what Optimus says at the very end. He's like, "You betrayed yourself." Stab. Like,
I guess let's circle back to ethical lesson. I guess we should lump that in there then.
What, you deceive yourself?
Yeah, like if you betray your values, you're really betraying yourself. Blah blah blah.
But so that's one line that's not backed
in the last
up.
2 minutes.
Yeah, and I don't feel like it's backed up at all. Yeah. Like we needed to have more people betray their values, but for that, more people would have to have values.
Yeah, yeah. But Captivating World. I see you have music is okay. I actually really dislike the music.
Really?
Because of their song selections, like when they sample real life songs.
Yeah.
Like you go from like they're storming Chernobyl into like this happy like it's just a weird scene.
Well,
I don't want to describe the scene.
I will say that it's very jarring. Everything is very jarring. But one of the reasons that I liked it is because, like, at one point, like, everyone's dying in Chicago, and it was so jarring for me. And I was like, I know I'm supposed to feel sad, but the only sad part is this Linkin Park song. Like, that's it.
That's
If it wasn't for the Linkin Park song, I would not have cared at all. Like, hundreds of thousands of people are dying, and I'm like, I'm supposed to feel sad.
I thought the Linkin Park song like is when they all win, and they're
I think they finished the song, but they played the first half of the song when everyone's like dying. And then at the end, when they win, they're like, second half of the song, here we go. Because I think it's the same song that they play. Iridescent.
The Linkin Park song?
Yeah, I can't remember.
I think it's What I've Done.
Is that it? Maybe.
I think it is.
I thought it was Iridescent something. Editing Zach here. It is Iridescent by Linkin Park that's played at the end of the movie. But also included are Monster and Many of Horror, which are used at the end credits.
I mean, that maybe is a Linkin Park song.
Yeah, we can look it up. Anyway.
I think it's Numb.
Numb. I think it's Please Stop. Yeah, I have no connection to the world, and there are no stakes.
Well, and I don't think they don't build stakes. Like, people die.
People die.
It's like everybody...
Hundreds of thousands of people die, and I don't care. And it's not my fault.
Like, they don't set up the sanctity of life. Like,
no.
Like, I told you about the scene when they're in the building and the worm Decepticon is, like, destroying the giant skyscraper.
Yes.
And
they're all trying to escape.
They have, like, a squad of soldiers with Witwicky. And he knows them because they all fought together in the first 2 movies.
Yep.
And basically, like, there's this... I mean, it's a cool action shot where the building goes...
It's, like, sideways. Yep.
And so they're sliding through the office space, but basically a guy falls to his death.
Yep.
Right? And then when the rest of them are escaping, they're like, all right, sound off. Is everybody okay? And everybody's like, yep.
And we're like, we're good.
Well, like, what happened to Charlie?
Yeah, like...
The dude fell.
Fell 300 stories and was like, yep, we're all here.
He made a zoom in on his falling form.
Like, was he not on the roster? Did you not know he was there?
He was walking around with an M4 out here. He's like, hey, can I come with
And
you?
you're like, hey, sure, man.
And he's even sitting like in the first car when they're like picking each other up from motels and stuff.
Yep.
He's on one of the roofs of the cars.
And then you contrast that with like the one like young rookie that joins G.I. Joe Lennox, and like he almost dies fighting Soundwave.
Okay.
And he's like, you did good, kid. And like, wait. We just introduced this guy.
Gravity and physics mean nothing in this show. I guess let's just jump into consistency with that.
They're parachuting for so long.
No.
And they're like free. They're like doing the wingsuits.
Yeah.
With like.
And they're like jet propelled.
Yeah.
Or like no, he's like he parachutes onto a Decepticon, which fantastic game.
Yeah.
I've known people that are like professional parachuters. I don't know if you could be that good.
Yep. I don't know if it was intentional.
Because he went from like, squirrel diving with his little suit to parachuting to landing on a dude, basically. But his parachute gets caught in his arm. Remember, he like flings him around and he slaps into the Decepticon. And he's like, ouchie! And that's it.
Yep.
And like he would be jelly.
Yeah.
He just slammed into a metal wall.
Yes.
Full force.
It's like a car. That's the whole point. They're like a giant talking, walking car.
Or when Sam does the like little grappling Batman hook thing.
Yes, and he's like getting flung around.
Yeah, his arm's even like behind his back at one point and does not dislocate or anything.
Nothing.
He's like, I'm fine. Or like they're falling through the building.
And then when he eventually lets go, he like flies back 20 feet and lands on Bumblebee.
And he's wearing a t-shirt.
And I'm like, bro, I'm pretty sure he's dead.
His spine is shattered.
Yeah, at least one broken bone. Gotta be. Like,
and like, so gravity means nothing.
Yeah.
In this movie.
Which is crazy and ironic when it's the dark side of the moon. You would think gravity would be so important right now.
Anyways, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, already consistency's off to a good start.
Oh, it's bad. The pacing is awful.
I agree.
It's jumping around so much.
I don't... Again, the first... not even a third. First quarter, maybe, of the movie. Like, when they do, like, the Chernobyl escape. And, like, even then, that doesn't make sense.
Even then, that doesn't show up until, like, minute 40.
Oh, really?
It's late. It is really late.
My brain literally lumps that with, like, the first... Like, that's the first scene.
No, because they do the government conspiracy, then Wiki getting a job.
Introducing his girlfriend,
correct.
Air quotes.
Then they do the Chernobyl thing, and then we get the betrayal, and then we go back to it, Wiki, and it's like, it's very jarring.
And they go from like 0 to 100 really fast.
I was so shocked. They've shown barely any death, and then we get to the Chicago scene, and all of a sudden they're like disintegrating people in the streets.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And I was like
you go from Dr. Shepard's like mansion.
Dr. Shepard.
I don't know his real name in the movie.
It's sponsored by Grey's Anatomy.
I don't know. I don't know his bad guy name.
Hold on, wait.
It doesn't matter.
I don't know.
Race car Dr. Shepard guy.
Yes.
Who is totally also dating Sam's girlfriend.
Yep, 100%.
And Sam definitely has right to feel insecure about that.
Yep.
Like that's also just so
that
weird.
whole plot line was weird.
They didn't. That's not resolved.
Nope.
She's just like, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
He gave me a $200,000 Decepticon.
He's dead now. It's fine.
Yeah.
Is he dead though? We don't know.
Like he's got a wall.
Yeah.
A whole wall of
pictures
with
of her.
Him. Yeah, her and him together hugging and stuff.
Yeah.
And you're like, nah.
That's not common boss-employee relationship.
And you got like,
that's like
no.
HR.
You also have the like car scene where he's like talking about cars, but it's obviously not based on the focus of the camera.
Yeah.
That's like, that was just you.
Yep.
Please stop.
Yep.
Please save us.
Yep.
So anyways.
And there's a whole bunch of questions like where do the moon Decepticons come from?
Yeah.
Like we've been to the moon how many times and how many countries and no one has noticed all of these buried under the rocks? Like what? They just like
didn't even have to look that hard.
No. They just like spring up everywhere.
Or like how many Decepticons are there?
Like in
how
total,
many Autobots?
We don't know.
Are they all on Earth?
We don't know.
Are they flying in from outer space?
We don't know.
It's like one Autobot dies, 3 more show up.
Hail
later.
Hydra. I don't know.
Hell,
Why is that
Hugo Weaving's in both of these, apparently.
Oh, conspiracy.
I didn't even know Hugo Weaving was in this until I looked at IMDb with Zach.
Yep, because Hugo Weaving plays Megatron, but he only gets 10 lines.
I mean, he's got to be Megatron in all of them.
Yeah, that's right.
And I had no idea.
No idea. Why is Sentinel a bad guy? He just seems like a curmudgeon-y old grandpa, and then all of a sudden he's like, I'm going to eliminate a species. I'm like, whoa!
He would be like a really, like, if Vietnam veterans, like, were still super jacked.
Yeah, I guess.
He's like just an angry Vietnam vet who's like, I gotta do the right thing.
Yeah, but I'm just like... You are gonna team up with the Decepticons
who you fought
started the Civil War. Yeah, and they said that was his plan during the Civil War.
Yeah, he was gonna defect. He's
like Optimus Prime is like, you were the best of us, and he's like, well, I was gonna join the bad guys, so
actually, I got tired of
doing the right
our
thing.
entire civilization falling apart. And so I gave up.
We already mentioned Ironhide. Why?
That's weird.
Like that whole situation.
And like
he's awesome, and then he dies, and you're like,
you don't even feel bad because he was there for like 20 seconds.
You're like, man, this dude's awesome, and then he dies, and you're like, well, that's sad.
The whole
why is everyone bad? I feel like every human was bad in this movie.
Other than Sam, the weird Agent Simmons guy. Yep. His Dutch bodyguard.
Named Dutch.
Yeah. Carly, the girlfriend.
The girlfriend, yep.
Although
But is she
good? She's just kind of there.
She's there.
Yeah.
She's there. Even that actually was really bothersome to me. The whole point that Sam went to Chicago was to save her, and then she keeps like running around with all of the military guys. And I was like, just go hide somewhere. Just go somewhere else. Like, what? You have no weapons. You have no training.
That's true. Like, what is Sam? Like, Sam's like, we gotta help. He's got like a 9mm and some blue jeans.
Yeah. I'm like, what are you doing, my guy? The government is all terrible. Like,
they make a big deal about it, the security and the secrecy. Totally insecure.
Yep.
Totally not secret. They're like, you're not authorized to be here, Sam Witwicky. And then they bring him in to look at like Sentinel.
All the stuff.
Like in the same scene.
Yep.
They're like, we're gonna detain you. And then they like show him.
And then they don't detain him.
He's like in the most top secret area
talking with all the bosses. Like,
yeah, he's talking to the national director of whatever.
Security or whatever. National director of secrets.
Might as well be the Secretary of Defense. Like, who cares at that point?
Yep. Yeah, it was crazy, and the government people are also stupid. Like no one,
they're like,
no one's figuring anything out.
Let's load up our one deterrent to the bad guys, put them on a flammable rocket, shoot them into outer space so they can just leave. And
because of course, the betraying bad guys that we've technically been fighting for like 3 movies now.
The guy's named Decepticons.
I'm sure they'll totally abide by their word.
They're gonna tell the truth. I feel it in my heart.
Yeah, it's so bad. But one of my favorite lines is the Simmons says, what does he say? He's like, follow Sam. That kid is a bad news alien magnet. Yeah. I was like, oh my goodness, that's the whole plot line. It's just Sam running into things and somehow managing to mess up the Decepticons' plans.
In a t-shirt.
Like, and why are there so many side characters?
Honestly, my head's starting to hurt.
There's so many side characters. And it's not sad when it should be.
Like, there's just... You don't actually spend any time with the Autobots.
Nope.
And if I remember right, you really only spend time with Bumblebee in the first movie.
Yep.
I don't recall the second one worth a lick.
Yeah. I was telling Josh, I remember Robot Scorpions. But that's it.
Yeah, it's something about them fighting in the Middle East. Yep. I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, I think it was Egypt. But even then, I don't know.
Yeah. And like the
we spend more time with the Decepticons than we do with the Autobots.
I think that's true.
We spend so much time with the Vulture.
How does that thing get around so much?
I know.
It's like it's in Russia.
What was his name? Wavelength, I think, or
no, Wavelength was the fighter
I thought that
jet.
Was Sound. No, the fighter jet is
Soundwave.
Oh, Wavelength. Maybe that is Wavelength. Yeah, you're right.
I don't know, but
it was Soundwave and somebody else. The Vulture. He was related. He was like Soundwave.
The car and the Vulture.
Yeah, he was Soundwave's pet. But I can't remember what his actual name was.
Our guarding Dr. Shepard.
Right.
Because his daddy made a bad deal with NASA.
Right. Who was working for the Decepticons. Yep.
even though NASA wasn't.
Yep. Right.
And now you know why it's confusing.
And now you know.
But I mean, even the consistency of human life.
Yeah.
Like, they're trying to make it like, oh yeah, people are important, and they're just blasting. They're just left and right, missiles, rockets, buildings.
Yes. So many innocent people are dying. Like, Autobots are blowing up people.
Autobots are getting blown up themselves.
Yep.
Like,
There's
execution style.
So many soldiers that just show up and get killed. Like, they just, like, they're, like, throwing people into a meat grinder. And it's like, what?
Why?
What is the objective here? Are we accomplishing anything besides sending soldiers to their death?
And, like, yeah, like, they're, like, got Navy SEALs popping up out of the water.
Yep.
Somehow, normal army guys wind up in the city.
That was, that was a big consistency thing. They spend like 10 minutes talking about how impenetrable.
No one can get in.
Yeah, and then like halfway through the fight scene at the end, all of a sudden everybody's in.
Every branch of the U.S. military is just showing up.
And I'm like, well, I guess it wasn't that hard to get in after all.
Like, they shot down our 3 drones, that's it. And then they keep sending like fighters, like F-22s, and they're like, oh man, another
one got blown up.
Squadron 3, you're in. Go, go, go.
I know, if I'm a pilot, I'm like, I don't want to go.
And then they send like, not Chinooks, but they're basically like just big helicopters.
Yeah.
What are they called? Ospreys, I think?
Yeah, Ospreys, yeah.
Full of dudes. And then they're
just
like super
out.
slow, and they're like, all right, guys, we're going to perish. They got anti-aircraft. You're just going to parachute. We're going to pretend this is Normandy. And the aliens are they're going to miss it. Just be ready to jump, guys.
But unlike Normandy, we're going in broad daylight.
It's like they like watch Band of Brothers, like the first episode. They're like, well,
you know, it'd be awesome
if we did that, but different.
But worse.
And it's just... So consistency is really bad, is what we're saying.
It's so bad. I
really dislike the music.
Yeah.
Like, it's just how they go from epic soundtrack to pop.
Yeah, the only song was the Linkin Park song. That was really the best part of all the music.
Sure.
That was honestly the best part of the whole movie.
But it has nothing to do with Transformers.
Nope.
Like, you can listen to that. I think I have that song on a playlist.
Yeah. Yeah, you can go listen to it by yourself, and then you don't have to watch this movie.
Yeah. I think we're winding down here.
I think we're winding down. Is there anything else you want to say?
Hey, we tried, man. We tried to be positive. And I hope
I hope it's enjoyable.
Yeah. It's like eating White Castle, where you eat White Castle, you're like, I wonder what I'm eating. You're done consuming and like you're immediately sick.
Yep.
Like immediately.
Yep.
And I think that was like, at first I watched it and is the first third of the movie, so I was like, all right, it's not that bad.
Yep.
And it's just the longer it went, the more I'm like, I want to be done.
Yep.
Like, I don't like this.
Yep.
It's not even like Jurassic World feels like a masterclass of depth.
Yes. Yes, I know. I was thinking that. I was like, man,
I miss Jurassic World.
Maybe I was too harsh on you, Jurassic World.
Yeah, we're like Thanos.
S tier.
Oh, man.
Yeah, maybe I was too harsh on you, daughter. I know. I need to go watch like Lord of the Rings or Dune so that I find balance.
It's like a nice palate cleanser.
Palate cleanse.
Go watch Finding Nemo or something.
Oh man, I think episode 9 would be good after this.
Not episode 8 would just make it worse.
I know.
Anyways. Well, you know, as we're getting out of here.
Yeah. We're gonna.
The movie might be bad. Oh,
I was gonna go here and then there.
You wanna go there and there?
Yeah, that's what I'm
go
thinking.
for it.
Yeah. It's an F, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Just making sure we're on the same page.
And I'm pretty sure most people, like film critic-wise...
I hope so.
Well, I feel like the only person that's going to disagree with us is a 10-year-old.
Yeah, probably.
And if you're 10 or 12 or whatever, and you're hearing this, you're like, I disagree. Hey.
Why are you watching that?
You know what? I'm calling your parents.
Okay.
And 2, you're 12.
Yep.
Please.
Please
go watch something edifying.
You're probably already more mature than Sam Witwicky, so.
Well, it's maybe equivalent. We'll go equivalent.
Equivalent. Yeah.
So I'm going F.
Yep, me too. F.
And I think it's our first F.
I think that might be true. So on the bright side,
I'll have to go back and look at the season 1
now our
chart.
tier chart will look
It's
more
finally
balanced.
complete.
Yeah, it'll look like more of a bell curve now. So that's
We
cool.
have a fully operational tier chart.
Tier chart.
I guess if we combine 1 and 2, which we're not. So
Yeah, so
we don't actually.
but
Maybe that's our goal. Maybe we'll try to hit
we'll combine
S
them.
to F.
Well, and maybe we could do like a
Mega one?
combined one. Yeah, maybe at the end of like season 3, we'll just do like here's everything we've done so far or something like that.
I probably could. I'll figure it out. Anyways, so as we're exiting, I feel like I just ran 5 miles.
I know.
But hopefully you enjoyed the podcast.
Yeah.
And hopefully, like, you feel better about the podcast than you do Michael Bay explosion Transformers.
That is a low bar, but I hope so.
And please, if you want us to get better, like and subscribe.
Yes.
Wherever you're listening.
Absolutely.
You can follow us on Patreon. We put up the rubric that we're following. So if you want to watch, we might even put up like our schedule of what we're watching next. So you can look at the rubric and what we're doing and maybe follow and generate your own thoughts on it.
And then comment those thoughts on YouTube and the Discord and all the places that you hear us.
Yeah, it is a really big help, and it's just fun interacting and being reminded like people do enjoy this. And Zach and I have fun, but it's fun to help others have fun too.
Absolutely.
So, what are we talking about next time, Zach?
The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. I don't have something to go with that. So.
Rafts.
We're
talking about rafts in the Mississippi River?
Yeah, the Mississippi River. Mississippi.
I wouldn't try. They fish some, too.
Yeah, that's true.
And there is some coded stuff on, good ethical lessons for the time period.
Yeah, I think we should have ethical lessons for this one.
I really hope so. This is a classic. And writers' names. What are those called? Pseudonyms?
Yeah, pseudonyms.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mark Twain pseudonym.
Mark Twain. What a guy.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah.
We're
Dwayne.
We should play some banjo music.
Yeah, that's good. Maybe I will.
Bum, 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 bum. Anyways, I'm tired.
Yep. Yep. Bye. And normally, at the end of this, I always say, hey, enjoyment is different from our rubric. So we recommend, this story. I'm going to go out here and say, I don't recommend this story at all. I would say enjoyment is not even what this movie, I was not entertained while watching this movie.